guys, next one on the list is this 2022 Polaris Ranger 570. We're going to do a little service on it. Well, we're going to be doing an oil change on this, so the first thing you want to do is get this thing in the shop and let it warm up a little bit. You can see the maintenance light down at the bottom is flashing. We will reset that at the end after we're done with the oil change. Let's let this thing warm up a little bit, and then we can start draining the oil. Like most of these side-by-sides or ATVs, they come in very dirty. So ideally, wash this thing off before you start messing with it. But right here on the passenger side, you can see the oil filter. From the oil filter, you want to go directly underneath. Work your way up. And right there is the drain plug. So this takes a 6mm. Make sure you get your drain pan ready. While that thing's draining, you can take this little cap out. Help it drain a little quicker. There you go. What we want to do now is jump into getting this filter. So try to keep it as clean as possible. You put a rag down in here, catch some of that oil. It depends on what tools you have to get this out of here. There we go. Once you break torque, you'll be able to get it off with your hand. Just make sure you have that ring. The O-ring comes off with it. It's not stuck on there. So we got the old filter out. We got the new one right here. Here's part number. There you go. Now you can add oil to this, which we're going to do that. Just add a little bit to it and get some oil on the O-ring itself. And if you fill this up, the problem with doing, if you fill it completely up and you try to put it in, when you're going in sideways, it'll leak all, well, not all of it, but it'll leak a lot of that oil out. So that's why I just like to put a little bit in there just so it's not completely dry. Do the best you can at keeping everything clean. Double check before you put that on, that gasket, that seal is not on there. Then you can be careful. Slide this thing back on. So right on top of the engine here, this is where you can fill the oil. Just kind of like a car. There you go. And this thing should take about 2 quarts. Oil is changed. I got 2 quarts in. I did forget to add on the drain plug. There is a washer that comes with the kit. You can put that on there too. Make sure it seals up real good. So we're gonna do. We have 2 quarts in. Everything's buttoned up. We're gonna fire it up. All right, so we let this thing cool down a little bit, just to get a quick little measurement on this. We should be good here. Oil level looks good. Now it does actually specify to check it when it is cold. So we have it warmed up. We're gonna let it cool a little more, but there is oil in it. So now we can move to the next step, and that's resetting that light. So now we need to reset this. We want to turn the key on. Then we can just hold the mode button. Go to options. Service hours. We can change it to what we want. We'll just leave it the way they had it. Well, if we did this right, you should turn the key on and the wrench should not be flashing. Good to go. Now let's change that air filter. Okay, so right here is where the air cleaner is. You have a couple clips all the way around. This pops up and pulls out. Now, you do have a little ring around the inside here. Just make sure you push that back in. Then you can get to the air filter. A little tight in here. You get a flathead screwdriver. Loosen this up. Pull that out. This is the Polaris filter. There's part number, made in USA. This one is the Amazon Special. Looks to be the exact same thing, but this was made in China. Filter. Good and sealed up, and then I'll put the lid back on. When putting this back on, it's actually easier if you put the seal on, and then you just put the box on top of the seal. So you know that seal is making a good seal. We got the oil change done, air filter replaced. Now we got two Zerk fittings to grease up. One's on the prop shaft and one is on the sway bar mount. It's easy to get to. Just grease those up on every oil change. And then you do have a spark arrestor to take out the exhaust. That is also something a lot of people don't do, but we're just going to inspect it here. It's an 8mm bolt. Take that bolt out. Spark arrestor should slide right out of there. Last step is done. Spark arrestor is back in the exhaust. Then we're going to take the side-by-side around, make sure we don't have any oil leaks, make sure there's nothing weird going on. And yeah, so that's it, guys. If you have any questions or comments, don't be afraid to leave them in the comments section below. As always, God bless.